Some films should probably just stay left in the vault and never get released. They actually did an adaptation of War of the Worlds featuring Ice Cube. Yes, Ice Cube. And it is some of the most dismal sci-fi ever. Now, I've actually seen Plan 9 from Outer Space. I've seen a lot of B and C sci-fi movies and TV shows over the years. It is a hobby of mine. I like it. I like a lot of stuff that's, not generally even regarded as like good sci-fi just because I love the genre so much. But this one is impossible to even sit through. It's one of those ones that's bad, but it's not funny enough to be something that's interesting. It's like, I'll get into it in just a moment, and then we'll go over some of the reviews because, wow, it got a 0% from Rotten Tomatoes. A big dud for Amazon Prime Video once again. Please hit the like and subscribe button and join us as we talk about all things in science fiction. Guys, I am a science fiction writer myself. This is my Stars Entwined. It is a military space opera. Beautiful science fiction. If they wanted to make a good movie, Amazon, call me. Let's build a movie out of my property here because we can do something wonderful all the way around. Or a TV show. I'd like a streaming TV show. If we could get 3 seasons out of this and then do a spinoff. Pretty good stuff. But this is about aliens at war with humanity. It's in space. It feels a lot like Babylon 5 or Deep Space Nine. If this is the type of science fiction you like, you're going to love reading this. Grab this in the description below. Start reading today. Support our channel. It's available on ebook, print, and audio, and it's actually got a full trilogy. So if you grab the Audible credits and just pick them up today, you can start on all of this and finish it all and catch up on my series before my new one comes out soon. And check it out, guys. Thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting Real Science Fiction and the Real Science Fiction News. All right, yes, Amazon Prime's latest sci-fi disaster has officially landed with the grace of a meteor strike, my friends. War of the World, starring Ice Cube as a surveillance expert battling alien invaders through computer screens, received a perfect 0 critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Now, of course, we saw last year with The Acolyte and its Star Wars bombing, getting very, very low audience scores. I think it actually dropped to 11 or 12% at its lowest. Of course, they claimed it was review bombed, and the critics loved it. They thought it was fantastic because, oh my gosh, Slay Queen, The Acolyte. But it was one of those ones that if they were honest about The Acolyte and was not some sort of political sort of thing, they would have panned that universally as well. And that's becoming exactly what's happening with Ice Cube's deal here. I guess they were hoping, Ice Cube, maybe he can be quirky like Will Smith in Independence Day. Remember Independence Day? Yeah, let's do that, because Independence Day, if you think about that movie, was technically War of the Worlds. It was just kind of a riff off of that. And so they wanted to recreate that for Amazon Prime with a low budget. Now, this is one of those films that was like a COVID monster. And if you don't know about COVID, a few years back, everybody was locked down and in their houses and not able to interact with anybody. Now, Hollywood had some trouble getting things filmed at that point in between strikes. It's been a crazy few years for movies and TV. Like, there's been a lot of stuff just torpedoed and destroyed just because of the way that all the strikes landed and COVID landed. Pretty crazy on that level from just a storytelling standpoint, how it's kind of messed up a lot. But you guys know that as well as I do. I mean, you've lived it as well. So this one was one where they really didn't want to get the actors filming together, and so they wanted them apart. And so having attempted to watch the first few minutes of this, and like I said, having attempted to watch the first few minutes of it is about all I could stomach. It is literally just a guy DMing on a screen and typing for that entire time. It is really tough. It's like, okay, I could sit on the internet and go on X and fight with some people on X, because has anybody like noticed that the X algorithm these days has gotten just way worse? I'm just going to aside real quick. Like, it's become like everybody just posts pictures of like Hollywood starlets and goes, "Is she hot?" and then gets a ton of like engagement responses, or they just like fight each other endlessly. There's like nothing else on there. Has monetization killed that platform? I don't know. You guys can talk about that in the description below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Anyway, like I said, I could go do that myself. I don't really want to watch a sci-fi movie of a guy typing on a screen. It's very painful stuff, and nobody else really wants to watch this either. Now, this got so bad that Ice Cube's son actually chimed in on this, talking about it, saying it was shot during the pandemic. Of course, I've gone over that already. Released 5 years later. And so they know that like this was meant to be something that was like a quick thing during the pandemic where people could not get together, and that's why it feels so sparse and so much a guy on a computer screen. It definitely only works during that context when you're trying to find something to watch real quick because you're stuck during the pandemic and not in an actual environment like this. So here we are with our good stuff from all of our reviewers here. Usually the reviewers go on there. This is pretty funny. If the movie were any good, I might fear the implications. That's pretty fun. That's pretty funny. If the movie were any good, a disaster movie in the most literal sense. Oof. Here we are, 2025. We can now say the worst possible adaptation of H.G. Wells' work has been proclaimed. No effort was put into this COVID-era adaptation. Worlds of the World is torturous. Endless 90 minutes of glitchy video clips, military stock footage, glad to be doing something, actors running through the street waving a camera in front of their faces, pretending to be scared. A limp, lifeless take on this, into a screen movie format just to harvest clicks from a recognizable name. With media companies turning to writing films for tax purposes, never to be seen again, perhaps Amazon could have done themselves a big favor. Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have released this. Poorly written, awkwardly paced, rough to watch. This is the critics. There's not one that has shown this to be something that they like. Even with a Prime, this is the craziest part about all subscription services these days. You have to sit through 2 minutes of ads to watch 90 more of what amounts to feature-length commercial for all things Amazon. Oof. Yeah, the commercials on all these streaming services. We all got streaming services thinking, you know what? I'm going to get the one or two I like, Netflix and a couple others. I'm going to cut the cord with cable, stop watching this stuff. And then pretty soon, we wake up 5-10 years later, and there's 15 different streaming services, and every single one of them only has one show worth watching. And then you're like, shit. And then you got to get on all of them. And then you still have to watch advertising like they're watching commercials in it. Every network started pouring in commercials into all of these now. It's gosh dang it. I paid for this so I could get away from cable, and then you just gave me cable again. We just got scammed all over again on this level. But let's look at some of the top audience on this and see what's going on. Oh my gosh, somebody enjoyed it. It's a totally different take on this movie. I'd recommend it to anybody who's looking for something different to watch. That's really nice, Carla. Give a participation trophy. Look at these half stars. Lazy, really lazy. I get that it's made during COVID, but a terrible adaptation. I like Cube. I'm pretty sure he filmed 90% of this from his basement storage room. Neat premise, special effects at the beginning, but as soon as the aliens land, I was wishing for them to annihilate everyone so the movie would end sooner. Wow, there's a few people who actually do like this. I think there must be worse movies that deserve to be rated lower. This review sounds like somebody trying to be contrary just because they're like, hey, this movie's rated a 17%, so I better try to get it up to 18%. Very weird that people have that psychological deal. Should have never been made. Who wrote this movie? Terrible, poorly executed. Sucks. If it were to be measured, this film would be in the top 10 of suckometers of all time. Very funny stuff. Like I said, a big failure for Amazon. But hey, everything they pretty much adapt ends up being this way. Any adaptation, let's talk about Rings of Power for a second. Let's talk about The Wheel of Time. They end up screwing it up and doing something completely wrong on this level where it's a big, big problem. And you know exactly what happens. So Amazon doesn't treat these classic science fiction and fantasy books with any sort of respect anytime they do them. They always try to reinvent it for a modern audience, and this is what you get at the end of the day. This one, just for some reason, people are allowed to hate, whereas Rings of Power and Wheel of Time, you're supposed to like it or you're racist or something like that. I still don't understand the rules of how all this works. They're all equally bad, and gosh, Amazon should get out of the business of science fiction and fantasy, in my opinion. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Check out my Stars Entwined in the description below. You're going to love this, guys. Great stuff. I appreciate you reading and being here and supporting real science fiction, and we'll be back.